I guess we missed last call. Too into each other to notice they turned on the lights. It's that kind of night. I walk you to your car, but it's not a good idea for either of us to drive. So how about we ride? I'll get us in an Uber back. We can go back to my place. Kick your heels off at the doorway. Why does the night have to end? Just cause the bartender said, won't you come in for a nightcap? One more drink with you wouldn't be so bad. I thought we'll just fall into bed, but if we fall in love instead, would you la 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 that? Only one way to know. Won't you come in for a from the balcony that I've been telling you about? Isn't it wild? Let's get more wasted for free. I'll make you a drink, you can make yourself comfortable right on this floor of the couch. I'll get us in an Uber back, we can go back to my place. Kinda reckless for a Tuesday, but why does the night have to end? Just cause the bartender said, won't you come in for a nightcap? One more drink with you wouldn't be so bad. I thought we'll just fall into bed, but if we fall in love instead, would you la 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 that? Only one way to know. Won't you come in for a right now, don't know what I'm talking about. But those eyes, could I be in love right now? That's what happens after. Won't you come in for a nightcap? One more drink with you wouldn't be so bad. I thought we'll just fall in the bed, but if we fall in love instead, would you la 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 that? Only one way to know. Won't you come in for a one more drink with you wouldn't be so bad.
Seems right, it never was. We were just stuck into something. Time shows we let it go for too long. Go back, I never could. It wasn't what I was searching for at all. We've been turning upside down. Now things are stranger. Nothing's left to say. Too far gone to go back to that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another week of the Magic the Gathering Collegiate Star League. I think that's what we can call it, right? The MTG, Arena League, Collegiate Star League. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the
Guys,
Sweet 16.
If you're watching at home, take a shot every time Rob says league.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. You know, anytime
That's the word of the
magic
day.
Word, the word of the day is league. Every time you hear it, spam it in the chat. Anyway, no, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Rob Gonzalez, otherwise known as Rob AJG. I am joined by Mr. Frank Lepore again, and his Twitter handle is his name, so it's really easy to find him everywhere. Right?
Yeah, I don't make it tricky for you guys.
He's a basic
It's real easy.
guy.
I'm all about the people.
trying to give back to you. But we have an exciting match this week. It is our Sweet 16 here at the Collegiate Star League. And we try to set the stage a little bit that this is an opportunity for one of these teams to be able to compete in the finals, where there's going to be scholarship money on the line, pride, all of the things that you would expect in traditional sports are here with CSL and Magic the Gathering. And it is a group activity this time. So, Frank, tell everybody at home how it works when it is group, and team Magic.
So for Team Magic, you have 3 players on each team. They will be battling 3 players on each opposing team. And the first 2 players to win it for their team. So
Yes.
If 2 players on Shawnee State get the first wins, they will win this round, and they will advance to the next round.
Yeah, and you have them going against the University of Maryland. And University of Maryland College Park has, I think, 3 teams. I think they all made the playoffs. I mean, it's just like pretty nice program.
That's a lot of teams. You can have as many teams as you want, I guess.
Yeah, they're just like, we've got 9 people. They're all busted at Magic. Let's do this. Well, hopefully somebody can take us home. So that's what we have going on, and it is an amazing time. We're in our Sweet 16, and what that means is we've got only 16 teams left in our bracket, where the final 2 will be competing for that national championship and the pride and the money and everything that goes with that. And until then, we are playing standard. So it's not historic. It's not something that you play on Magic Online. We're not playing Pioneer on Magic Online. So I don't even know. Do young people even know what Magic Online is anymore? Do they use it?
That's a program that the old timers use, Rob.
Us old folk, we remember.
If you boot up a Magic Online in front of the arena players, they're going to be like, "What's this?
What is this paint? Is this
Oh, this must be Minecraft."
Oh, I love Fortnite.
Oh, my grandfather always told me about Minecraft.
Yeah. You have to buy actual You can take these boosters and trade them to other players? Wow.
It's wild, man.
You guys
what a time to be alive.
It's a wild, wild west out there. But no, it is going to be all on MTG Arena. And this week, like he said, it is Shawnee State. It is going to be the University of Maryland College Park. And one of these teams decided to all play one deck. They have the team deck, and we do that sometimes in group play. Well, we're going to get into that deck tech here shortly, but the deck they are playing, I have been playing for the last week, and I've been singing its praises. So it doesn't surprise me that Shawnee State said, this is the best deck. This is what we go with. And normally when you play on teams, we end up having a team deck, right? It's like
there's maybe so much value.
Right. It's like you all know the lines. This particular deck is just value down. A+ value.
It's obnoxious. But I mean, it's good. The deck is great. The deck is great. Don't get me wrong.
It's good. And it's skillful too. It's not like it's just like turn 3 inverter, hammer for whatever, And
I feel like Shawnee State is doing us a favor because now we only have to go over one deck for all 3 players. So really, that's just efficient.
It's just pure value for us as well. Like, hey.
Yeah, value all around. It's the deck that keeps on giving.
Giving it back to the community is Shawnee State. But we also want to say thank you to our sponsors, because we obviously wouldn't be able to put on this broadcast every week if it wasn't for them. And we do have a couple of big sponsors we want to send our shout out to. The first sponsor being HyperX. Obviously, you can see here I'm on my HyperX Quadcast, and they are just, very, very helpful to make sure that we can have so many great things going on for this tournament. We also want to thank GameStop. GameStop has been putting on weeklies for the community. They've been able to put on boot camps. They also have this really big boot camp that's going to be coming, I believe, in May, where we're going to have Fortnite and CSGO players be able to go out and find out how the pros from Complexity are being pros, like how they got so good and be able to do all of that. So it's going to be a good time. Make sure you tune in when we do those boot camps. I don't know if we'll be broadcasting them or have video or whatever, but we will be able to reward a couple of teams with the opportunity to do that. And maybe they'll teach Frank how to play first-person shooters. I don't know.
That's all I've wanted ever since I was a wee lad.
Ever since I was a wee lad. I just wish I could play FPSs. Anyway, that's horrible. A horrible whatever impersonation of I don't even know what. But let's get into our deck tech. We are going to be having, again, Shawnee State and the University of Maryland College Park. And let's get Shawnee State out of the way. Well, they're all playing the same deck. So let's talk a little bit about what they're going to be able to bring to the table. So they are playing the Clover deck. And Frank,
Teamer Adventures.
Is that what it's called? Is that what
I
it's
think
actually
that's the
called?
official name. Teamer Adventures. Yeah.
Oh, it feels like whenever I don't have a clover, it's not that great though. Like so, it's,
I think
don't know.
Edgewall Innkeeper works just as well as a clover a lot of
No,
times.
it does not. No. But anyway,
But the problem is the cards aren't weak without clover. They're just they're very good standard playable
they're
cards.
just stupid with clover. So
Right. Oh, of course.
it turns out fork is a real good thing. But Frank, start us off. You were talking about Innkeeper. Why is Innkeeper so important to this deck?
So there's two engines in this deck. One is Innkeeper, one is Lucky Clover. Innkeeper allows you to play your creatures and draw a card just by playing them. Lucky Clover allows you to cast your adventures and double them. So essentially, if you have an Innkeeper or a Lucky Clover, all of your adventure cards are basically 3-for-1s because you get to either cast the adventure twice and play the card as it is, or you get to play the adventure, play the creature, and draw a card. So
Yeah.
no matter which one you have, they're turning your cards that are already 2-for-1s into 3-for-1s.
And the reason I said that Clover's better, okay, is it copies a whole spell.
It's
It
true.
without
Instead of
paying
drawing you
it.
possibly a land per se, or
Right. And if you've got a Lucky Clover out, it turns out some of these 2 and 3, like, so your 2-drops, you don't really have anything that you're going to be able, it's not an official 2-drop. But Stomp, when you have a Clover out, is really just not right. It's like,
yeah, it feels, it's a 2-mana 4-damage spell.
Right. You're like, wait a minute, what does 2 mana and like Flame Rift? But
I mean,
Flame Rift doesn't
I
target.
had 3 permanents in play, and my opponent had 2 Lucky Clovers, and they Brazen Borrowed my entire board.
Oh yeah,
3
it's like here.
non-land permanents, that is.
Yeah, you're like, here, Cyclonic Rift. That card's decent.
That's literally what I said. I'm like, well, nice Cyclonic Rift, I guess.
Yeah, or I was like, I guess my opponent had 3 2/2s out, and I was like, I will shoot that one. That was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
right.
And then I can play a 4/3. Just so Lucky Clover has a couple of really good interactions here. So the first one we said was Stomp. The other one is going to be Petty Theft, which is going to be our 3-drop where our fairy's at, and Petty Theft allows you to bounce permanents you don't own. And then the big thing here is that for Fae of Wishes, this is when it gets silly. Is because for 4 mana, you get to go into your sideboard and get a card out that's helpful. But when you have Lucky Clover, it says
2 sideboard cards.
pay 4 mana, just pick 2 cards in your sideboard and put them in your hand.
Yeah, it's a 2-card tutor for 4 mana.
Right.
Or if you have another, like if heaven forbid you have 2 or 3 Lucky Clovers in play.
Look, if you have 2 Lucky Clovers in play and you cast Granted, your opponent is probably going to lose. So
it's like tutoring for 3 cards.
Right. And the big thing is, if we look to the sideboard really fast, I'll talk to you about why this card is so important, is you really have answers for everything. So you've got Mystic Repeal if they've got artifacts and enchantments. Enchantments.
It's good for the gods, especially like Heliod or Thassa.
Right. Thassa is the big problem that I've run into. Shadow Spear, when you really need to be able to turn the corner and get that life together. I don't really usually get Aether Gust out of the board. Sometimes I've gotten Disdainful Stroke, like if I've already gotten my negate out. Fling, when you really just need those last couple of damage.
Well, Fling is also great. Don't forget, Fling is great with the Beanstalk Giant, because sometimes that guy's a 13/13 and you just want to kill them out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I heard that I'll throw. I don't know where that was in that story of the Beanstalk Giant, but who's flinging him? Like, what creature is throwing a 13/13 somewhere, right?
Because you have to have something bigger than that. Maybe it's you as the player flinging him.
But the players can't. I don't know. You're just like, come here, little Beanstalk
Hey, buddy, we're
Giant.
Planeswalkers, okay?
Oh, that's true. And
our
power is unlimited.
That's true.
So, but the big things that I end up using out of the side, and I'm assuming they have it, would be Chandra. If you scroll down a little bit, there should be the Chandra in there. There also will be an escape. But the big thing also is once and future.
Yeah,
so being able to have, you're just like, well, I can copy this twice. I'm going to take the once in future and I'll take a Storm's Wrath. I'll cast my Storm's Wrath and then I'll once in future for the Storm's Wrath again and the Fae.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I've definitely had times where I wish I had one more. So I could go back and do that twice in one game. But
yeah, and thankfully, Once in Future has the more modern clause where it exiles itself upon casting it, so that you can't just loop Once in Futures.
You're just like, hey, 2 Once in Futures, I'll just do this forever.
I'll get a card, get the other Once in Future back, cast Once in Future, get the other Once in Future. Yeah, it's
and the only reason we know that is because when you played Magic for a long time, you go through these cycles of cards that shouldn't do those kind of things, and then Wizards fixed them, and they fixed it in once in future. But it's still a very good card. It's one of those things where, like, if they kill your Chandra, you can just bring it back plus something. And Chandra's very good because sometimes you just get to a point where your board may not be that aggressive, but being able to +1 on Chandra and make an emblem and then just start doing damage to them, and it also wraths the board randomly if they're not playing a bunch of elementals. It does everything that you want it to do. But ideally, with a lot of the hands I have, it's like turn 1. I sometimes don't even play turn 1 Innkeeper. I do, like, I'll wait, I'll play turn 2, hopefully get turn 2 Clover, and then turn 3, when you can use the Beanstalk Giant to get 2 lands out of your deck.
Yeah, for sure. Like, going turn 2 Lucky Clover into turn 3 Beanstalk Giant to get lands out is nuts because it ramps you to 6.
Yeah, or I mean, there's also been hands where it's like turn 3, I play make the 1/1 off of oh my gosh, I can't remember his name, of Lovestruck Beast. Make a 1/1, then I make 2 1/1s, and then I still have mana up to bounce 2 of their permanents with Petty Theft. So the deck
the
does
flexibility of mana is really nice in this, is because every card is either a 2-drop or a 3-drop, 3-drop or a 7-drop. Like, they all have versatile casting costs. Lovestruck Beast is a 1-drop and a 3-drop. So, like, a lot of times if you have like 5 mana, you can figure out what are the 2 best things to do, and you have a bunch of different options.
Yeah, and there's also this other card in here that I didn't realize how strong it was until I started playing it, but the Great Henge in this deck
it's a 1-up, right?
Stupid.
I mean, just the 2 life a turn and drawing a card whenever you cast a creature is very, very good.
Yeah, what I didn't even realize is that I knew you tapped it for double green, and when I was playing, I didn't realize you gained 2 life like on top of that. I was like,
that's very good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, by the way, I'm also gaining 2 life every time I tap this. Yeah, and when a creature comes into play, which, like, all your spells are creatures, it also gets a +1/+1 counter and draws a card. It's like, I guess this does everything. So the deck is very good. There's a reason that Shawnee State is playing this deck and this deck only.
3 copies of this deck, right?
Right, and I mean, I personally think, just from my experience, it is the best deck, but it does have some issues. And so let's talk about what the University of Maryland is going to bring to the table, and let's look at Drowsy's deck. Drowsy, it has the ability, I think, to possibly, and it's drowsy like the Pokemon too.
That's what I figured. And we're like, this is no stranger to us, this deck, because we've definitely cast this deck before.
Yeah, and I think the good thing for this kind of deck is it can go under the Teamer deck. Yeah. It has the ability to just do a lot. The problem is, like, you still have to get through Lovestruck Beast. Like, when they play a 1/1 and then they play a 5/5. And then you're just like, wow, how do I get through all of this stuff? Phoenix of the Ash definitely helps.
Well, this deck can definitely go wide. And the thing about the Teamer deck is that, one, it doesn't have much life gain. Like, there's no adventure cards that have life gain. But also, the only board wipe in that whole deck is the Storm's Wrath in the sideboard. So they have to spend 4 mana for Granted and then 4 mana for Storm's Wrath. So it's not super efficient. Whereas this deck can go wide, and not only you have 4 Ember Cleaves, but you also have 4 Castle Embereth. So all of the Ember cards in the deck that just pump everybody. So this gets all your creatures get +1/+0 with this guy.
Yeah, and having 4 Annex is also very helpful, because if they do Wrath your board, you can keep things around, and then you've got all these 1/1s, and then with Castle Embereth, now they're 2/1s, and that can be
Torbred. They're basically
with Torbred, right? It's like, okay, well, how do I deal with that? And that's what I was saying. Is like, when I've been playing against the red decks, it's really been about trying to get these 1/1s in the way, get these trades, put a 5/5 in the way, and if you can do some of that, you're okay, because you also have the ability to stomp a lot of the stuff. But like you said, it's like, if it goes wide enough, you just don't have a lot of firepower, right?
Both your Ember Cleave and your Embereth are both going to do damage when you're going wide enough, because of the pumping ability, or because of just double strike and +1/+1. And Phoenix of Ash is actually a nice addition from Theros as well, because it just gives you some reach, not only in the sense that it keeps coming back, but it also can just fly over most of the creatures other than, like, Brazen Borrower.
Right, and I think that's what I was saying. Like, Phoenix of the Ash, I do like having that 2 of, because the big worry here, there's 2 cards, like we said, Stomp and being able to just wrath the board, and being able to have a Phoenix of the Ash come back. You don't really care about it anyway, and it comes back as a 3/3 haster, and if you happen to have more mana, then it's, I guess I'll attack with a 5 power flyer or more.
Yeah, just pump it. Right, like, it's, if they don't have a blocker, then good luck.
Yeah, and the +1/+1 counter on it keeps it alive through Stomp, so it is a very, very good option. In the sideboard, we also do see Claim the Firstborn, which in this matchup, actually you could
It
be able.
steals everything.
Oh,
Like
well,
it steals
it's
Lovestruck Beast, it steals Brazen Borrower, and it steals like what's his Bone Crusher Giant.
Well, I was thinking like it steals Lovestruck Beast, and you always have 1/1s. So
I mean, I think it's actually very good. Like that's
Yeah.
I think that card is actually very good in this matchup.
yeah, that's super strong. And then we have Embereth Shieldbreaker to destroy target artifact. Some Lava Coils to be able to do 4 damage. And that's usually against the green decks. Be able to get rid of the
Questing
beasts
Beast.
and,
Yeah.
you know, Unchained Berserker. We've seen that against the control decks as well as the mono.
Oh yeah, that guy's great
decks.
against the white decks for sure.
Well, and against even the blue-white decks, they're like, well, protect. I can't get rid of this thing.
Yeah, and like they just can't block it with Dream Trawler. They can't bounce it with Gideon.
Teferi.
Or
Gideon.
You know, I was like Gideon. Why? I don't know why I said Gideon. Teferi.
Well,
you know,
clearly, Frank has new Gideon incoming. Sorry, you're getting banned.
Don't
Rip,
please.
Rooney.
Can we edit this out?
Yeah, exactly. 2 more Phoenix of the Ash, as well as an Experimental Frenzy. So they definitely have some options here in the mono red deck, and I just based on that sideboard, I do like what they have. I think that this, especially after sideboards, has a much better game against the teamer decks.
The funny thing to me is that like they have 4 Unchained Berserker in the sideboard, and no matter what match they're playing against tonight, like it's not going to be useful.
Right, it'll sit in there, and
It's like if you go to a tournament and not a single player in the room is playing a white card, and you have 4 Unchained Berserker, and you're like, well, I guess I got an 11 card sideboard tonight, boys.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, Unchained Berserker is not going to be seeing much.
Probably going to be hanging out on the sidelines tonight.
Yeah. So, well, let's take a look at what Legion AF has brought, and it appears that Legion AF has decided to go with. This is the deck I was playing before the Teamer Adventure deck, and this
I like this
is,
deck too.
Well, you know, this is the Cauldron deck, the Oven deck. I don't know what you want to call it, but
it's got Corvold, the Fakehurst King, which is it's one of the mythic rares that was in one of the brawl, like I don't know if they're brawl decks or like just like precons, but this guy's not available in packs. So if you open some packs, he's not going to be in there. You got to get this guy specifically out of like theme decks, or I don't even know what they are.
I didn't know that. I've only played it on Arena, so
right, like on Arena you can just craft it like a wild card, but you'll never open like Corvold in a pack, or there's one for every 3 color combination. There's like an Esper one, there's a Bant one.
Right. Well, let's talk about what this deck does. And we haven't seen the Oven decks in a while, but the idea is that you have Cauldron Familiar in your 1-drop, and with Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven, you are able to sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar, be able to make a food, and then you can sacrifice the food to bring back the Cauldron Familiar, and then basically every turn you get to drain your opponent for 1 and have a 1/1 blocker, and that cat just keeps coming back.
So obnoxious. It's funny, this deck drove me insane at the beginning of the format, but now that it's like just here and there, it's actually tolerable. I'm like, okay, this is a cool deck. I'm glad it exists. It's so much better when it's just not ever present
every round. Well, the thing about this deck also is you have Mayhem Devil, and Mayhem Devil obviously combos with Cauldron Familiar. So now not only one, but whenever you sacrifice the food and you sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar, Mayhem Devil,
another one.
You know, there's 2 damage. So Mayhem Devil is like enemy number 1 when you're playing this deck. You've got to be able to kill it, but it's resilient. It's a 3/3 for 3. And these teamer decks are going to have a hard time getting this guy off the board.
And
because
Mayhem Devil's also any target, so it can kill Edgewall Innkeeper. It can kill the 1/1s from Lovestruck Beast, Brazen Borrower. So, I mean, just being able to shoot anything is very versatile for Mayhem Devil. Yeah,
and it's when any player sacrifices a permanent. So I don't know that the teamer decks will be doing much sacrificing of permanents, but that's not the point. It's just like it just does it all the time.
That's not the point.
That's not the point,
but,
guys.
I mean, it's nice because like even if your opponent sacrifices their own Fabled Passage, you get to deal 1 to something.
Yeah, enjoy this. This deck has a little bit of I don't say spice, but it's a little different from what I played. So it only has 1 Murderous Rider, but it has 4 Agonizing Remorse. And 4 Agonizing Remorse is basically, here's 4 Thoughtseize in my deck.
Standard Thoughtseize, yeah, it's standard Thoughtseize. Except you can also choose a card from a graveyard.
Yeah, and you're like, well, you can really hurt the Lucky Clovers. You can just do a lot with Agonizing Remorse. It's great against control decks. And in this particular deck, you just really want to make sure they don't have a way to deal with your engine, which is Witch's Oven. You also have Trail of Crumbs, which whenever you're sacrificing things, you'll be able to pay 1 and then be able to look at cards. So it's like just a lot of value in this deck. But the add to this Nightmare Shepherd,
I love that. I love that card. I love that 4/4 flyer for 4.
Nightmare Shepherd with Cauldron Familiar, just like all these little 1/1.
Well, the problem is you don't want to exile your
just in case, just in case. Why? Come on! I was just trying to like imagine like instead of you just put tokens in play just to be the troll, but no.
I mean, it's nice if you have Thrashing Brontodon. You can sack your Thrashing Brontodon,
get 2
kill
uses
an artifact,
of it.
get another Brontodon, kill another thing. Same thing with Mayhem Devil. Like they have to kill it twice because you just get another Mayhem Devil.
Yeah. So there's just a lot to be able to do with Nightmare Shepherd.
I'm sad there's only 1 in the deck.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't double up, right? Like
but I mean, like it's still just a 4/4. It's just a efficient creature that has a great ability on it.
Right. It's a 4/4 for 4 regardless. And when you sacrifice it to Witches of it also makes 2 food. It's the big deal here.
That's true.
But the thing here is that you said like things like Thrashing Brontodon, very good, even as a 1/1. Mayhem Devil, even as a 1/1. Gilded Goose as a 1/1. I mean, there's just
Gilded Goose is still gonna make food. It's still gonna sacrifice to make mana. Like
Massacre Girl as a 1/1, just in case.
That's
it
pretty sweet.
Gets a little wild. You can really wrath the board. So now in this matchup, it looks like they'll be able to have, like you said, the Thrashing Brontodon main deck against a teamer, which is very, very good. They only have they have Mayhem Devil to try to get rid of the Innkeeper.
Yeah,
and they only have 1 Murderous Rider. So getting rid of a really big Beanstalk Giant is going to be a problem, right? Like it's,
there's not a ton of answers in the main deck. I mean, like, okay, so the ideal situation is you block it with Cauldron Familiar, sacrifice Cauldron Familiar, get your food, and keep doing that ad nauseum so that
until they get a Shadow Spear.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So there is that, but in the sideboard for the deck, they have 2 Epic Downfall to be able to exile target creature with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So that's one way to deal with.
And that's most creatures in the teamer deck.
Yeah. They've got Kroxa. I don't know if that comes in, but it's there. They do have Noxious Grasp, which is going to hit most of the stuff that is going to bother you, like Lovestruck Beast and the Giant. And
also,
Innkeeper.
most of the stuff in Standard.
Yeah. It's like, green or white. Yeah, that's everything.
That's everything.
They've got a lot of sideboard cards. Return to Nature.
Shifting Ceratop's nice for the blue decks.
Yeah.
Which is teamer.
And you also have Casualties of War, and some of these decks played 4 Casualties of War. This one only plays
bonkers.
1 sideboard, so that's going to hurt, because 4 of these in the main deck would be gross against the teamer deck.
Yeah, because you're going to hit an artifact, you're going to hit a creature. Rob sneezed silently, but bless you, Rob.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Have to don't want to get anybody. So doing my best here to keep people from sneezing on. Anyway, so yeah, that's Legion AF, and then the last deck is going to be from Maryland is Bodacious, and Bodacious is playing. It looks like we've got some Bant. And we saw this last week. This was little bit of like a Bant control type deck where you've got the Knight of Autumns, you've got Dream Trawlers to finish it off, but also you've got Nissa to be able to do some damage.
Yep, 4 Nissa, 4 Teferi, and 1 Tameo.
We saw Tameo do a lot too. It's like sometimes you just have to get stuff out of the graveyard. And didn't the deck that got last week?
What was that? Didn't
I think this deck,
the deck that got decked?
Yes, I think this is the deck that got decked.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah, there was definitely a Tameo in there.
Yeah, so it is still a very good deck, but what the deck does is able to ramp up, and once it's ramping, obviously you can ramp with, you've got the 1-drops that'll be able to help you ramp, and in Aberril Grazer, you also have the ability to ramp with Uro. There's Growth Spiral to be able just to get it going, and then from there, it's a matter of, okay, what do we want to play? So we've got the ability to play Nissa. We all know what Nissa does. Dream Trawler.
Boy, do we.
Yes. We can bring back Uro, and from there, it's like, okay, if things get a little bit haywire, we are able to...
Oko?
I did not say. Don't you?
Sorry, a little PTSD, Rob. A little PTSD.
Yeah, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Anyway, we can play Dream Trawler, we can do Nissa, and then also if things get a little wild, we can Shatter the Sky, and we can Elsbeth Conquers Death, which not only will O-ring something for permanently, but it will also bring back possibly Nissa or a Dream Trawler, and all of those are great options.
Or even Knight of Autumn or Teferi. Like any of the cards it brings back are great.
Yeah, we saw it bring back Knight of Autumn to be able to help in last week's matchup. So in the sideboard, though, we do see a couple of Aether Gusts, which will be able to do some work this week. Devout Decree, I'm not going to really do too much. I guess it could get rid of like Chandra, but I don't know.
Maybe, but like Bone Crusher Giant's like really your only target.
Yeah,
it's like the only red permanent in a main deck, I think. So
yeah, it doesn't seem like enough. Dovin's Veto will be very good today. Heliod's Intervention is also something that could be good to be able to get multiple Clovers.
And one thing to keep in mind, if you use Dovin's Veto on the spell half of the Adventure card, like if you use it on Stomp, the whole spell gets countered and you can no longer cast the creatures. So that's
right nice to the graveyard. Heliod's Intervention, Knight of Autumn extras, Lovestruck Beast for the aggro matchups to be able to have a big blocker, and then Mystic Dispute, which will be able to hit some blue spells today. So it's going to be interesting to see from Maryland what kind of sideboarding they do, because they have so many options against these decks. And the good thing is that because it is a team game, they will be able to talk about this and maybe learn from their first match what they should have sideboarded and give them some insight into what's going on from there. But that's all we have for our deck tech. And I'm going to ask you, Frank, based on what we've seen, who you got?
It's hard to say. The Teamer deck is super consistent, but I don't know how each of these decks, each of the UMCP decks are going to match up against the Shawnee State decks. So it depends. It really depends.
Oh, boo!
You want me to commit? You want me to commit? Okay, so yeah, I got University of Maryland. I'm going with Maryland tonight.
You're going to go with Maryland. So not to be contrarian, I just love the Teamer deck, and I've just seen what it can do. And but God, the sideboard cards.
But I'm also wondering how much testing Shawnee has done against these three individual decks.
Right, because that
because of their surprise factor, I'm gonna go with the University of Maryland.
No, I can feel that. Like I think Maryland has definitely played against this deck,
right?
The Teamer deck. Whereas who knows what the opposite is,
right? Whereas Shawnee might not have played against the Jund Sacrifice deck or even Mono Red, like because Mono Red's not super popular now.
No, and I totally agree, but I'm still going to go with Shawnee State.
Yeah, that's fine.
The power level of the deck is just silly. So that's what we have for our deck tech, and we are going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's time for Sweet 16 action between Shawnee State and the University of Maryland College Park.
I'm hyped.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Oh my God.
Hard to ignore all the things we say. I wish I could change it. shaky. Our emotions got the best of us lately. I got issues, yeah, you got them too. Our feelings too bruised to fight. We can say a lot in a little bit. Pressure in our minds made us throw a fit. But got that kind of loving that ain't counterfeit. It's foolish and useless without your love. Without your love. Turning pages, communication, maybe focus on the basics.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now time for Shawnee State versus College String Bean versus Drowsy. It sounds like a Pokemon matchup.
It
But it's
does
not
sound
Magic.
like a Pokemon matchup. It's true. This is a
And-
mulligan to 6 right here. We're looking at a mulligan to 6 from
I would
String
keep
Bean
that.
right now.
I'd keep that 100%.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah. See, that tells you how important.
Well, the thing is also you can't really play it on turn 1 and also play a Lucky Clover on turn 2 because of the tap land. Oh, he came back anyway.
He's like, well, I don't need that second one either. Need
Don't
land.
you put me on the bottom.
That's right.
Yeah, you definitely want to hit a 3rd land and a 4th land here. So
Yeah, well, and especially against this mono red deck, he's going to be able to lead off with a Scorch Spitter.
this is what we're talking about, though. This is that start.
But there's going to be one. Listen, even if he doesn't get the 3rd land on time, he still will be able to put a couple play and hopefully buy himself some time. And there's also like a world where he. Oh, never mind. I was going to say there could have been a world where he just.
No,
held
that
on a
doesn't
second.
exist.
Yes, you're like, well, maybe I'll just wait and try to get 3 tokens. No.
Ambitious, but no.
Unlikely. Oh,
Yeah, and see, this is the start that you really don't want to see from both String Bean and from Drowsy. Like, it's a very slow start from String Bean.
right. But he's
But
going to be
Drowsy's
able.
like,
Yeah, like
doing what he does.
look for String Bean, he's going to be able to pay 2.
Do you want to pay 2? Oh wow, that's.
I told
Oh
you he's
yeah,
gonna...
we're making 3 1/1s. But wait, what's going on?
Oh,
Okay,
I thought he
good.
was conceding. I was like, what?
That's what I just I was like, wait, are we done?
He's like, I'm done here. So he's going to go greedy. So my thought process with that was actually
Beanstalk
to,
Giant.
yeah, just Beanstalk Giant, make a couple lands and then untap with 2 and make 2 1/1s. So he'd be on 4 mana no, he'd be on 5 mana right now, and 1 less 1/1, right?
I mean, the problem with this is that the Fervent Champions have first strike. So,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
can't
train
do
with
anything with it.
a Scorch Lizard, a little Scorch Iguana, but like that's not.
You're still taking 4.
Yeah, you're still. Well, they're gonna block, but I mean, like your guys are dead, right? So.
Right.
But then he just gets to play another Scorch Spitter plus light up the stage, plus a land.
Yeah, and this is one of those hands that is just really rough. And this is what I still think that it would have been better to have 2 lands, 2 1/1s, and then be on 5. And now next turn you would have 1 less Lucky Clover, right? But that's who cares? Like it's the only thing you're going to hope for right now is to draw a Stomp, and you don't have red mana.
Yeah, the problem is
So-
against this deck, you don't have time to be like set up Lucky Clover, play an adventure.
Right. You got to have red mana. You got to be able to kill these guys with.
Spectacle.
And
Yeah, let's do it.
yeah, it's definitely going to be Spectacle here.
Well, the thing is, like, he's at like String Bean's already at 11, and like, there's no way to come up from the 11. There's no life gain in the deck, so like, all they have to do, all Drowsy has to do is survive until they can deal you 11.
and there's
Like
Torbrand
a Scorch
out.
Spitter and a Torbrand is going to deal 3. There's 2 more haste creatures in hand.
Yeah,
There's a
it-
shock. You know, it's,
there's only thing that's going to help is if he top decks a Petty Theft, then could get a little bit of time. But
yeah.
I mean, but look
It's
at
only
this.
just one turn though, because the guys are so cheap.
Well, right, and
Oh,
there's
God.
4 of them. Oh, and well, there you go.
Wow.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
But here's the issue: is you now
Call
still gonna
shot
have
from
to-
Rob.
right? Listen, this is why they pay me the big bucks here. So we're gonna,
I know what's on the top of the deck.
That's right. This is how I got to the Pro Tour, boys.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do we have all the new Theros forests and all the New Theros islands, but regular mountains.
You see those ugly, disgusting mountains, and ugh.
Well, that's
This
unfortunate.
person has no respect for the game.
Come on,
Clearly.
String Bean.
Love yourself, String Bean. So this is with.
Unbelievable.
We'll be able to bounce 3 permanents here. So we'll be taking at least 2. And
There we go.
Here's what we said. A little baby Cyclonic Rift. Enjoy yourself. Get out. We'll be taking at least only one. Only one then, because you can block. You can take out 2 of the Fervent Champions and the Spitter, right?
These guys have haste though. Like it's so funny because it doesn't do much, but I don't know. Gives you time.
Right, but like you said, it's going to be a problem because eventually you just go wide again, and then you get to play Torbran, and it's like, well, you're at 11, you're at dead.
Right, exactly. Like once the Torbran comes down, like all these guys are no longer 1/1s; they're at least 3/1s.
Yeah, and does have double Clover, so we'll need to find. I'm trying to think what's the best thing you could get here.
And the funny thing is, Brazen Borrower can't actually block a single creature in Drowsy's deck other than the Phoenix.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Brazen Borrower doesn't block. Like,
That's true. That's true. This is not a blocker.
No, it's actually mostly just upheaval. It's mostly just like. All right, so.
Well, search for 3 lands is still good.
All right, you can search for 3 lands and then play the 5-drop, and then you die.
Search for 4 lands is still good.
There's no card draw. That's the problem.
Right. Well, there's nothing. You're not playing anything after you search for the 4 lands. You got 1 Lovestruck Beast. So, if I think if Stringbean actually draws a land here, the game is over.
I actually don't even think he needs to draw a land. I think double shock in hand should be good enough.
Oh, puts him to 6. Yeah. Each of the champions are going to be 2/2s because they're all going to pump each other. And because every creature is 2. Yeah, so that's 6 damage plus the. Yeah, this game's over. We're gonna go to game 2.
Yeah, and this was mostly, I think, for Stringbean, that turn where he could have just essentially put 2 lands into play on turn 3 instead of trying to play the Lucky Clover plus make a bunch of tokens. Like, the extra token didn't matter. I think having the extra land and having the ability to be able to top deck a Stomp that next turn, and then you could have copied it a couple times, would have stemmed the bleeding a lot. But now we're going to have a problem with sideboard, because we talked about how they do have the ability to threaten the Lovestruck Beast and a lot of other bad things. And
yeah, it's just like the creatures that you rely on to block. And the thing about the Temur, here's another downside about the Temur Adventure deck: it doesn't have a sideboard.
Right.
Like, the sideboard is full of 1/ofs, and the only reason you have them in there is because you can get them with Granted on the Fae of Wishes. So, theoretically, if you bring in your 1 Aether Gust in your sideboard, you have a 1 in 60 chance of drawing it. Whereas if it's in your sideboard, you have a 4 in 60 chance, because then you can just get it with Granted. So you keep it in the sideboard because it's just you have better odds of getting it when you need it through the Fae of Wishes.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if they board anything in here. I guess they do put the Aether Gust in the main deck. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that they would. They have to be able to get to Chandra and and Wrath. Like, Chandra it will drop down uncounterable and 3 damage to everything.
So drop down uncounterable.
That's right. Drop it down, Chandra, and do 3 damage to everything. That's a non-elemental. So I'm trying to think in the red deck. None of their creatures are elementals, right?
I don't think any of them. Scorch Spitter might be an elemental.
I think it's a lizard.
But I think it's an elemental lizard. It's on fire.
Could it? I mean, it is on fire. It's scored. It actually spits fire.
He's on fire.
it's NBA
from downtown. Oh man, classic. Runaway Steamkin actually might be an elemental too.
No, Runaway Steamkin could be an elemental. That's actually.
I think there's those 2. I think those 2 are the only ones.
Yeah, let me find out actually. So, Fervent Champion, Human Knight, Scorch Spitter, Elemental Lizard.
Nailed it.
You got him. 10 Street Dodger.
Elemental.
And, all right, so it doesn't even kill everything.
Right, if your Steamkin's a 4/4, you're just like, well, I guess you gotta keep that.
I guess I'll have to get the Thunder. I guess I get the Wrath.
The players are ready. We're doing it.
I keep calling it Thunderous Wrath. It's Storm's Wrath.
Thunderstorms. It's the same thing.
That last hand would
It's a
have been so
it's a
good.
regional. It's a regional name.
It's a regional name. Thunderous Wrath Storm.
Depends on where you're from.
Yeah, part of the
Like I'm
country.
from Florida, so I'd call it lightning storm. So
Yeah. I don't know if I call it from New Mexico. I don't even know what I would call it. Static
probably
storm.
clay storm. I would
Clay
imagine.
storm. Yeah, exactly. Chili storm. But
Desert storm.
Desert.
That's a whole
No,
different
actually,
thing. That's a whole different thing.
Desert Twister. That's what I'll call it for now on.
That's
Anyway,
6 mana.
6 mana, destroy a permanent, boys. Again, another hand with. Oh, they brought in the. What the?
Yeah, they brought
Okay.
in like Domri's Ambush and Aethergust. They brought in like 2 or 3 cards.
Well, this is a hand that has no red, no Innkeeper, and no Clover.
Yeah, this hand is slow.
This hand is what we call in the business.
I think you just play out Fae of Wishes as a 1/4 blocker here.
You have to. Yeah, I mean, well, there's plenty of times where I've played this just as a 1/4. Unfortunately, this is another opportunity where Lava Coil is going to.
I was gonna say it's probably gonna get Lava Coiled, but
And it's good value. Like, you don't normally want to be Lava Coiling a 1-power creature, but in this case,
if you play an axe into Torbrand, like an axe becomes a 5/3 and it deals 7 on the attack.
no big deal. Whatever.
That's gross, man.
So now the question is, does he want to make a 1/1 and have the petty theft up, or does he just want to play a 5/5? I think you make the 1/1 and then next turn. No,
I was gonna say I was gonna say petty theft because you know they're gonna have to play something next turn. So at the end of their turn, you can just bounce it. Like so, if they play an axe, it's nice to be able to bounce it and just kind of time walk them.
yeah, and then hopefully you'll get into a red mana here.
Oh, but they're gonna do that anyway. They just took 2 to do it, so that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. That's fine.
yeah. I mean, you want the blocker, and this is going to give you the tempo.
And it lets you play Lovestruck Beast next turn. So
Right, and you're going to be able to attack for 1. Let's get him.
so aggro.
God, if we only had a way, if we had red mana here. But unfortunately, there is no red mana to be found.
Yeah,
Drowsy-
using Domri's Ambush to kill the Torbrand would be great.
Yeah, I mean, well, just being able to have red mana to be able to play the cards in your deck turns out it's going to
That's
be
also true.
pretty
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
I do like playing my spells.
4th land is going to be very important here. Granted, oh gosh, I'm trying to think what I would even get with Granted right now.
I mean, I would say Storm's Wrath most of the time, but I think like no single red, let alone double red.
Double red, yeah. So the next draw, you'd really, I guess, maybe just want to be Beanstalk Giant. Oh, there's a.
That's looks like another red card.
Oh, you're hurting me. I don't want it. I need stomp. I can't stop anything.
Yeah, you're stuck with Fae Wishes or Brazen Borrow. Those are your options here.
Yeah, and this is rough. Oh, he's gonna attack.
This is aggressive.
I would have never attacked. And the reason why I don't attack is they just take 5. And then
Right,
untap.
like you're not the beatdown here. So
Yeah. Hey, that's a lesson, right? Who's the beatdown?
yeah, when you play games like this, you want to assess who is the more aggressive, who is the more aggressive deck in the matchup. And if it is not you, then you should play the defense and let them play offense.
Now, granted, he does have another petty theft. And here's the Torbrand. So now your petty theft, you're going to have to decide, like, okay, well, where does this petty theft need to go?
It's got to be Torbrand, I think.
Of course. Double shock in hand as well. So the question is probably like, do they want to burn the shock on the 1/1, which I think they probably will, just to get it out of the way and not get the chump blocker? Oh no, gonna just make it so that.
Yeah, I think it's just worth keeping in hand because of the 8 damage.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. They're bouncing an axe. That's
Well, he wants to just keep his life total. Halfway
yeah, that makes sense
decent.
because like an axe isn't going to be able to attack next turn anyway, so they're saving an extra 6 to 8 damage next turn as well.
Yeah, no red mana still.
Yeah, I was thinking like if they draw red, they're actually in decent shape, but
is there
another forest is not what you want to see.
well, I didn't see if they cited out like one Beanstalk Giant or something.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did actually. It's funny because Fae of Wishes in the list that I was playing could actually there was one Fabled Passage in the sideboard.
Yeah, something like that, where you could find the red mana. Because if you could find red mana right now, it would give you a
different
little.
game.
Yeah, well, give you a little bit of game. You still have no way to do it to Torbrand, and Annex is also like.
Well, Domri's Ambush gets rid of Torbrand.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. I was saying you can't get rid of them both.
Oh no, right. But I think Torbrand is definitely the bigger threat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you're gonna look.
You're like,
It's got to be shadows. Maybe it's Shadow Spear. Put the Shadow
yeah, I was
Spear
like,
on.
yeah. Well, you can't. Oh, you put it your Shadow Spear. Oh, wait, get rid of an enchantment. Oh, he wants to just go ahead and
Let's get rid of the Annex.
get rid of Annex that way. And he's thinking the same thing we're thinking. Like, how do I deal with both of these cards? Like, how do I deal with Torbran and Annex? Or what do I keep? Annex doesn't sound right. That's not the way. What's that called? Is it?
Annex?
Oh, it is Annex. Annex. I keep calling it Annex, like the blue card.
ANNEX, yeah.
Yeah, but is it Annex? I think that's a better way to pronounce it. But
Because he's holding an axe, so I think that's probably his name.
is that really? Is he really holding an axe?
I mean, it seems like it. Yeah, he's holding an axe.
Oh my God, he really is holding.
So that's
an axe.
probably. I mean, it just fits, right? Like,
Yeah,
if the shoe fits.
I've been playing Magic for so long. Like, I sometimes just don't look into the details of a card.
You're like art. They got art on these things.
Yeah, well, I've had that happen where I'm like, I only see like superficial parts of the art, and somebody will be like, "There's an axe in the card. That's why he's called
And you're like,
Annex."
get out of here.
I'm like, "Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth!" And in this
I was just
case,
talking about an axe.
You just talking about it. Well, I can dig it. Anyway, so
This guy being able to get in for 3 every turn is pretty good. Like, and this is why I think they kept the shocks in hand, because if the tin yard hooligan, what's that thing called? What's that crazy little
10 Street Dodger.
Yeah, if the Tin Street Dodger can get in 2 more times, and it can only be blocked by creatures with Defender, it's just dealing 3/3, and then they have double shock. Like, that's just the game.
Right. So you're in desperation mode now to get a red mana.
Yeah, because your Mystic Repeal actually does nothing right now.
Going to try to double shock the 1/4.
Oh no, you're gonna single shock it because of Torbran.
Oh God, I keep forgetting shock does 4.
Yeah.
What a card.
Oh, that's gonna.
What in God's name?
Oh, what if they attack
What if
with
they
all
burn
3?
Right, he attacks all 3, and then
they
burns it.
mystic. Yeah, and then he Mystic Repeals the Anax, and then he Ember Cleaves the Torbran.
No, don't. Oh my God, it's like watching a horror movie right now. It's like,
Oh God, the Ember Cleaves coming from inside the house.
I know. Hold on, it's like you're knocking on the door. Hello. You need to get out of the house.
I have to run upstairs now.
No, don't. Have you checked the children?
Oh man, this is gonna be wild. Oh, plus you get to play the Fervent Champion because it's basically free.
Yeah, and that'll be the 4th creature to make Embercleave just double red.
Yeah. So they have, and they also get to keep up shock too.
Well, the good thing here is if you are the blue-green deck, because he doesn't have red mana, if they attack with everything, right, you know something's up.
This
You're
is
like,
perfect mana.
Yeah, it's 100% perfect mana. Oh no!
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's happening! Oh no! Yeah, this is still works actually because they still have 3 mana for. Oh
Yeah.
boy!
And then response. Oh, they didn't attack yet.
No, it does.
Still
Yeah,
have
it doesn't
3
matter
mana.
though because there's still
But he
got
is
3
right.
creatures.
He just won't be able to shock plus. He loses the shock.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's a real shame.
That's unfortunate. Unfortunate.
What a dang bummer.
Yeah. How will I live without you? Anyway, here we go. That's right. See, I love Frank because he gets all of it.
I got
He
you,
gets
fam.
all of it. It's like we live together when we never did.
It's like you sing it from one side of the house, and then I finish it up for you from the other side of the house.
Yeah, you see his head just like pop out into the hallway.
Oh man, we should have our own buddy casting
comedy.
show.
That's right. Clearly, we got this all figured out.
It's like a buddy cop show, but with casters instead.
Instead of cops, instead of people.
God.
Oh Lord. Oh, the Lord says you got to ride.
And we know they don't have anything, so
Yeah. This is what we call in the business a rap.
oh, if you put the Ember Cleave out Torbran, he becomes a 3/5.
Yeah.
He deals 5 immediately did he take
First
5?
strike.
Oh god. God, Ember Cleave is just a real magic card right there.
It really is. It is real in the field here. And it is.
God.
And then there goes his board. And
Oh, what is that exactly for, huh? Well, hope you can untap.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying. Like, the red deck is just like, oh god, Embercleave is just such a disgusting magic.
Yeah, and without red mana, also drawing triple of the Fae, and it's like there's just wasn't enough here. Obviously knows he's dead at 4, just has lethal, just looking at him in the face. Pew pew, 4 damage, sir.
Do you have a counter? He's gonna play a Brazen Borrower in response.
And then concede.
Nice. I feel who won that match?
That would be String Bean lost, and String Bean was on Shawnee State.
So you say Maryland won? You said
I would dare say that Maryland is up 1 match to 0.
I forgot. Wait, who did I say? Who did I say was going to win? What was that? I forgot.
I don't even remember who you said. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was
so long ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, that's fair.
It was so long ago, but it does appear now. The University of Maryland College Park is up 1-0 over Shawnee State. The mono red deck did exactly what Frank said. He said that it would go 1-0, and it has. But we're going to go to a break, and after the break, we're going to see if Shawnee State's going to get, or if this teamer deck can actually be teamer. if it can find red mana, so don't go anywhere. Right after. We'll be right back.
Sky blue eyes, I see a world behind them. No more time, sinking into the silence, reaching out for something you may never find, looking for a reason not to lose your mind. Feel like you're caught in a world you don't belong to, praying that you'll make it home. I know you're scared that the place you love is gone. Don't fear what you do not know.
Oh, welcome back. It's now match 2. University of Maryland is up 1-0 over Shawnee State, and Frank called it. He's
kind of how I thought it would go.
He's a prophet. And for our next matchup, it is going to be the teamer deck again for Shawnee State, and for the University of Maryland College Park, this is the Oven. Witch's Oven with cats.
This is a very modern hand because you get to go Blood Crypt, take 2 into Cauldron Familiar. Then you go Stomping Ground, take 2 into Agonizing. What is it? Agonizing.
Yeah, Agonizing Remorse, right?
Remorse, yeah. And then you take 1 more from that, and it's very similar to like modern, where you go Fetch Land, Shock Land, Thoughtseize, start on 15.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that at least the cat gains you 1.
That's true.
Now the hand,
small victories,
right? Hey, it's the little things. For the teamer deck, does have a turn 1/1/1, will be able to go Clover turn 2 and then be able to bounce a couple of things with Petty Theft. But for our Oven deck, it's got everything. Everything that you could want. 3 mana, Brontodon, you got double Agonizing Remorse. You can really hurt this Teamer hand. Oh, it's agonizing.
Oh, getting this lucky Clover out of the
I
hand.
know. My Clover! No!
Sorry, all your cards have to do their normal things now.
Sorry, you only get to do both halves of your card.
You can't do 3. Only
and drew another one. Why not? How frustrating. Like,
How
you take it out of
lucky.
their hand, and then they just play another one. You're like, well, I guess.
Well, you know what they say in Magic? Better lucky than good, my friend.
Listen, that Brontodon. Oh my god! And then drew another Agonizing Remorse.
Yeah.
Just take everything out of his hand.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, like they're not going to be worse the further into the game we get. So.
And takes the good. That's a good take to be able to get rid of. Granted,
It's nice because Mayhem Devil kills the Brazen Borrower, so it's really not that big of a threat.
Yeah, now there's going to be 2 lands coming out of the deck, but there's
good.
nothing left. There's nothing left in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Love
I mean,
Struck
there's a
Beast.
Brazen Borrower and a Love Struck Beast. Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, it's not going to scare you. Like, if you can't deal with a Love Struck Beast, and obviously does have the ability to do that, and still has another Agonizing Remorse, if he wants to just say, you know what, that last card, give it to me.
Well, I don't feel like either player has a tremendous amount of gas here.
What? Did you even look at the other hand?
You think Legion has? I mean, like, there's just not. It has 1 Mayhem Devil, but no sacrifice outlets. It has no real way to generate food other than like the Trail of Crumbs makes
what?
food, but there's no like Witch's Oven.
Right, but you still can Brontodon to get rid of the Lucky Clover, which is going to
But
sacrifice.
not this turn though. Like, so you play Brontodon.
Yeah, not this turn. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, there's still. I would, if I could trade hands, I'm going to definitely go with the Jund deck.
Interesting.
I mean, Trail of
Brontodon
Crumbs
and
in
Lucky
itself.
Clover trade, which leaves Mayhem Devil and Agonizing Remorse, right? But then like the other side has a potentially a 7/7, a 3/1, and a 5/5. Like, I just think the cards that Charles
but
and Texas has access to right now are a little stronger than.
The 5/5 does nothing because it gets dumpstered
Sure, yeah, that's
by
fair.
the 1/1. And then you still have Brontodon, which again, so when they also bounced the Trail, which is really interesting. Oh, and okay, here we go. Now we're gonna get combo time.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Mayhem Devil will come in, play the Fabled Passage, be able to crack the passage, get a land, deal 1. Has a food available, so can still bring back the cat, which will trigger another sacrifice. Yeah, there's a lot going on now.
Wait, where did the?
For the what?
What am I missing with how the? Oh, okay, never mind. I was wondering how the Brazen Borrower got in the graveyard. It's kind of confusing because
Right.
the ability copied. The first copied ability of Brazen Borrower bounced the Trail of Crumbs, and then the second ability had no target, so it just went to the graveyard.
And
Why didn't they target like the? Did they target incorrect? Did they target both with the? Did they target Trail of Crumbs twice?
yes,
Because they
And
should have targeted food first, then Trail of Crumbs, and then they would have had it resolve. But since the actual Brazen Borrower was
Right.
looking for a Trail of Crumbs,
that wasn't
it
there.
didn't resolve and it went to the graveyard. So that's actually a pretty sizable misplay.
Yeah, that is a
Unfortunately, Charles
that is a poopy targeting there.
But here we are with like the 7/7 alone is pretty good when Legion has no real engine to get that cat to keep coming back.
Right, only has a couple of food, so has.
Oh wow, yeah. See, this is
Wow, now it gets a lot better. Well, there's okay. Granted, it is only one of them, but those are still 7/7s.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to be really greedy and search out the land first, but this is going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, do you even search out the land or just play the 7/7?
Yeah,
And I think this is correct. I don't think you need an 8/8 and then another 8/8 on the next turn. I think you'd rather just have 2 7/7s. It's like, would you rather have 2 7/7s today,
Right.
or 1 8/8 and another 8/8 tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. And what we talked about in this is this Jund deck only has one, and count them, uno, Murderous Rider. So we said this before the match began,
Yeah,
that
that's really strange.
Ancient Giant was going to be a problem because they only have one Murderous Rider.
Yeah.
They didn't have any way to just deal with this guy. And even in the sideboard, there's only one Casualties of War. There's 2 Noxious Grasp, but that's after sideboard. Today...
Yeah, so your answers to deal with creatures that are bigger than like 4/4 are very few.
Few and far between are the problems, but we'll have some time here. His opponent's at 9, he's at 17. Does have the ability with this Golden Goose to chump block if necessary. The 1/1 in there. The Golden Goose will be able to bring back this beautiful, beautiful cat.
This beautiful, beautiful cat.
This beautiful, beautiful cat. Bring it back, baby. Bring it back.
I don't like that that Charles and Taxes just played the land post combat.
Right.
That makes me a little sad.
Yeah, I'm saddened by that play. But here
I
we
mean,
go,
because the guy is definitely, he's the number of lands you haven't played is definitely relevant here. So.
Oh wait, I saw a Massacre Girl. Is that one?
I know there's no way because you're not going to kill 7.
You
got to kill like 8 dudes.
Well, you got to go from like 5 to 6. It's just not enough. So, Murderous Rider is really what he's looking for.
It's still a blocker.
No,
but it kills your stuff too, and it's not great.
I mean, it's
there it is.
Now we're in business.
Now we got a game.
We are in. Well, we got a lot of business going on because Charles and Taxes being at 7.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, you have a couple. All you need is like 2 or 3 more turns of blocking.
No, you don't even need that. You need 2 because
especially
you can
with the goose. Yeah.
So you can sacrifice when you sacrifice the cat, it's going to deal 1. And then when it comes back,
because the food, because
another 1.
So you're dealing like 4.
And then it comes into play. Yeah, it's like
this is what I hated. This was the thing I disliked about this deck was that like you can literally be at 7 life and then you just lose to 1 cat, 1 artifact, and like maybe a Mayhem Devil sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's very once you get these pieces, like your life just dwindles so quickly.
Yeah, and I mean to be fair, his life has dwindled all the way down to 7, and I don't believe that Legion AF has attacked.
I don't think so either. Yeah, there's
like,
been no attacking whatsoever.
Who needs to attack? That's so yesterday.
Yesterday, attacking was how I won the game.
Oh Lord.
What did we go to damage without making a? Okay,
no.
I was like, please make a food, and then also sack this cat.
Yeah, minor detail. But for Charles and Taxes, really needed to get a Granted here. Granted would have been able to do a lot of work.
Yeah, Brazen Bar was not the blue creature, the blue flying fairy that you want here.
Yeah, he needed to be able to get the Shadow Spear out of the sideboard and kind of just put this game away, but instead, going to have to try to race a Witch's Oven Mayhem Devil combination, which is not a race.
Yeah, Shadow Spear is a great tool for this deck.
And here's what we talked about, this ability to bring back the cat, pay mana to look through your deck with Trail of Crumbs.
Yeah, this is like such a ridiculous engine.
Hey, there's your Nightmare Shepherd.
I love it.
And there's 6.
He just got another goose. He's like, I'll just get another goose.
Yeah, whatever. Gooses. And now we're at 4, and that's going to be game if he gets to untap, right? Pretty sure.
I mean, it's so close.
No, it's not close. It's dead. He's dead. He's at 4. Untap. Play the Mayhem Devil. Oh well, Fable Passage makes it really.
That's such insult to injury. It's like
I top deck the land. Got him.
My land even deals you a point.
All the damage.
I don't want to be negative here, but I feel like my prediction is coming to pass.
Listen, it is. I believe in Shawnee State. It just seems like their hands have not been that great so far. So we just need a little run. That's all. Just need a little run from Shawnee. But right now,
it's true.
It is not going to happen. 3 life. There's going to be a bunch of triggers. And
I like how Charles and Taxes hasn't conceded here. He's like, you know what? I'll play this out.
He's right. You do it.
I think we got this.
He's
I want to see you win.
Yeah, I want to see that lethal.
Show it. Show me the combo.
Oh, he even sacrificed the food for life. Didn't even have the common courtesy to do some other combination of things. I don't know. But
do some other he didn't even have the courtesy to not do that. He did that.
He didn't even just he trolled him with the food. Here, enjoy it. He should have like passed the turn, you know. Got the food up here at 1, go.
He should have passed the turn and then did it on your during.
That's what I mean. Yeah. No, just whenever. Just in response to anything. There's no. He knows
like,
that.
Did he forget that he has lethal? Oh no,
exactly. Yeah, you got to attack.
Such BM.
Yeah, he draws the granted. He's like gets the shadow spear, equips, attacks, and you're just like,
all right, kill you.
I kill you.
Because like, at what point do you how long do you play? If you're Legion AF, how long do you play before you're like, are you messing with me?
Right.
Or do you actually miss it? Should I go through the motions? Or
are you just
or do we both
BMing?
know I'm dead?
Yeah. Because if you don't sacrifice food at all, right? Like, let's say you're just like, it's one of the things you have to pay the mana to sacrifice it for the life. And he's like, maybe he just like thinks you don't do. I don't know.
You're like, well, I got to try because maybe you forgot.
We're just messing around. You don't do it that way. You just win. And that's exactly what UMD College Park has done. They're up a match. Now they're up a game. And it's going to be up to Shawnee State to try somehow, some way, win a game.
That's all I want.
Just win a game.
When I play Magic, all I want to do is win a game.
You can't win the match till you win a game.
That's true. So, it's like walking, but it's like crawling before you walk, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, some babies walk before they crawl. I don't know if you knew that. Some babies skip the whole crawling phase.
Is that true?
It is true. It's very small percentage. Oh my, that hand is awful for Shawnee State. But the second hand is much better. And then for UMD College Park, that hand is great. That's everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I see a cat and I see an oven.
That's right.
Which is a weird sentence. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, not something I do in normal talk, but
but to be fair, this is a decent 5 as well. Innkeeper into Stomp into. The problem with Stomp in this matchup is it just no one cares.
It does actual nothing.
None of Legion's creatures care about getting stomped, which is really also another funny sentence.
My creatures don't care about getting stomped. They just come back. Meow. All right, so I guess you can kill it right now. And this is part of the reason that you almost always lead. Like, you know he doesn't have any artifact construction, right?
Yeah, right. Like you have to get your one like Mystic Repeal out of the sideboard.
Right. So you just
and that's what I mean. Like the sideboards are so weird for the Wish package because you don't get an actual sideboard. You can't be like, I'm going to board in 3 artifact removal.
Yeah.
I'm going to board in 3 counter spells. Like you just don't have them.
Now,
like,
granted,
all your slots are the Wish package.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because he has another cat, but like still, like it is going to be almost certainly what cat oven here, and Shawnee is going to have to be ice skating up here. They're multi 5.
Like this this is funny because I wouldn't even be surprised if like for the next 10 turns they just sat there and cat ovened every turn, and then like they just can't. I can see Shawnee State just not being able to get through that.
Well, the other thing too is for University of Maryland, they only have 2 land. So,
do they need more?
Well, if they want to cast other things, I'm going to assume they can't really. Well, I guess they can just block this 4/3 forever.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, I think they're like, dude, they're already. Shawnee State's already at 14. Like,
yeah.
Well, all right.
Listen. We're getting there. Here we are. We're going to go ahead and play a Golden Goose. I'm going to assume,
or we can actually epic downfall this.
Oh yeah, no, look, I like that.
And they have no pressure.
He's like Golden Goose, epic downfall. What's he gonna do?
Get my honk on.
Now that's a weird sentence.
Get my honk on, bro.
Yeah. You know, it's like when I go out to the honky tonk, what you gonna do tonight, boy? I'm gonna get my honk on.
That's Robert's best impression of a white person.
Listen, that was just my impersonation of a country,
a southern gentleman,
a country. Person who goes to a country bar, regardless of race or color, they all get their honk on.
Also true of geese.
Yeah, regardless of color of geese,
they all get their honk
on. It is true. Equal opportunity honkers. All right, so multi 5 for Trials and Taxes, trying to get around here, has the 4/3. And now for Legion AF, they are stuck on mana here, but will be able to get back and block this 4/3, right?
Not as much as you think, because like they do have Gilded Goose. That's 3 mana right there, buddy.
Right, I understand.
Charles in Texas.
I knew
Gets
you
in my head every time, dude. Every time.
The problem is that no one understands like Charles in Charge.
I hope you guys understand Charles in Charge from the 1980s.
They have. We barely understand Charles in Charge. Okay,
It's true.
It had Scott Baio, if I'm not mistaken.
It did. It definitely did have Scott Baio. He was Charles.
He was in charge.
He was in charge.
Now, what was he in charge of, Frank?
I believe it was the kids. I believe he was in charge of the kids.
That's right. He was was a babysitter, right?
Yeah, he was kind of like a babysitter, right?
And for everyone can Google that, they'll be like, Charles in Charge. These boomers are talking about shows that came out in 1986.
I'm a millennial, buddy. Please don't call me a
Oh,
boomer.
excuse me. Yeah, I am also a millennial, but I feel much older. Where's my avocado toast? Oh, here we go. Great Henge.
That's not bad.
Well,
That's
that
actually
will-
very good.
No, that's very good because now
the
all of a
two-life
sudden,
return is real strong.
well, but the problem is there is this return to nature in Hannah, if I'm not mistaken.
The 2-life is much less strong.
Yeah. Well, the 2 life is actually not a negligible number when you're getting.
No, it's not, because like that's 2 cat activations every turn that you're negating. However, the problem is the return to nature.
Right.
Or if we get to the casualties of war, where you're like, kill
Well,
this,
the
kill this,
casualties
kill
is
this.
yeah, that's
a
we're
bit
a
away.
long way from casualties right now.
True.
But the thing here is poor Charles in Taxes doesn't really have much going on. Needs to find like the best thing that if the next 2 draws could be Lucky Clover plus Granted, we'd be in business. Business.
Charles in Taxes is definitely not in charge of our days and our nights. That's
We're only one land away. Or not one card away from being able to do something crazy. So we're going to destroy target artifact. Great Henge has got to go, and could also.
Hey. Ho ho.
So Great Henge has got to go. All right, going to enter tapped here, and I would assume would destroy the 4/3, but it's not going to just. Didn't I just hold on?
Yeah,
Just
I
lock it
think you
down.
just wait for that beanstalk, because you know the beanstalk giant's there.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And
I
plus,
didn't-
you don't take 2 by killing the beanstalk giant, like you would with the bone crusher giant.
Oh, well, here we go. We do have another ability to stomp some things. But there's, like you said, stomp is such an underperforming card in this matchup because if you're not going to want to stomp a cat, I mean, God, that sounds horrid.
Oh god.
Please don't call PETA on me. I don't.
Also, life totals are 24 to 13. Like, oh god, we're getting so. We can actually. Oh, that's
We're-
interesting.
We're
We can
almost
casualties of war here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but you're only getting 1 creature, right? And a land. So you can get and it doesn't hurt. Like, he has multiple blue sources, multiple red sources, and multiple green sources. So Epic Downfall is just the play here. You can bring back the cat, just keep him at
I think,
bay.
yeah, I would just take 2 and then play double cats.
Well,
Oh, he did not.
no,
He's
both
like-
those cats are in the graveyard, right?
Oh, they're in the graveyard. Right,
I mean,
right. Okay.
Yeah. So another innkeeper.
Don't
this
play
is gonna
any
be good.
cats.
Well, but here's the good thing: is now he'll be able to shock the goose and then play the 4/3 and draw 2 cards. And now we're back in this.
Oh, see, this is very funny because since you were going with Shawnee State, you're speaking from Charles and Taxes' point of view as if
Yes.
he's like, that's your dude. Where I'm like, all right, Legion, we got this. And it's so funny
It's
because
the
like
coaching.
we've taken the roles of the decks that we chose.
Yeah, well, isn't that how this is supposed to work? I have got a brand to protect here, and I can't
Oh.
be stupid.
Wow.
I can't lose to Frank. I mean, I can't lose to Frank.
Wow. Now
Jesus.
now you're just being hurtful.
He already has a luscious beard, and I have nothing. So
Can't you have a luscious beard?
absolutely not. I have never been able to grow facial hair. I have the same facial hair I've had since 8th grade.
Absolutely not.
This is probably the same mustache from.
You're like, I haven't shaved since
I haven't shaved.
1998.
Yes, no, I haven't shaved since 1992. Haha,
that's-
teach you.
That's longer.
Yes. All right, here we
Grandpa
go.
Rom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our giant and draw 2 cards. We drew another innkeeper and an island. Not exactly what we're looking for,
I
but
think we're just it's so funny because like Legion AF has nothing, but he still feels so
Yeah.
far ahead right
he's
now.
like, I've got it all.
It's actually ridiculous. Like, make a food
Enjoy-
every turn.
Yeah.
Bring 2 cats back. You take 2. I gain 2. Sack the cats. I gain 2 more. Like it's so insane.
Yeah, but the good thing for Charles and Taxes is can literally just draw anything out of the deck. Like almost anything that's not land is going to be good, unless it's the 4th Innkeeper. Like the 4th Innkeeper would be horrid, but everything else is.
But it's funny because I almost feel like that's true for Legion too. You know, like there's like both players can cast whatever they draw.
Right. And here we go, multiple 4/3s in the red zone. Do they even say that anymore? Do they even say red zone anymore?
Do they even have a red zone? I don't think
so.
so.
I don't think they.
I don't think they don't. I don't think it's. They didn't take it away. I'm just not. Oh, well, this is interesting.
Just took it instead.
I think he's going to attack with these cats.
He's good, ready for cat beatdown. You're
I mean, because like, yeah, they're going to go to 9.
This Casualties War is looking real bad. Yeah, here we go. Cats incoming. Has lots of food available, so if he brings back both cats, loses both food, really needs a Mayhem Devil off the top. That would be.
Why?
Nope.
Wait, what? Why didn't he stack the food there to bring those cats?
Wait, what
back?
happened here? I'm confused.
I am also
Maybe
confused.
he just missed it.
That's weird.
I think he missed it. I think he just missed it. Aethergust is bad.
Aethergust is bad.
Like, you just don't want that right now. You just want a creature. Just give me a creature, boys. Just give me a power and toughness that's not Innkeeper, and I'll be able to draw 2 cards and probably do a lot of dumb stuff with it. And the life totals being now 10 to 19, Charles and Tax is going to be starting to feel this heat a little bit. The good thing about having an Aethergust is, well, I'm surprised he didn't play the other Innkeeper. Like,
yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, there's nothing that I don't think there's anything in Legion AF's deck that could really punish you for playing multiple Innkeepers.
Right, and even if, let's say he plays the 3rd Innkeeper, attacks with the first 2, and he just trades straight up. Like, no, that doesn't work. I was gonna say he can't do it that way because he can still make food with the goose. He needs to be able to kill this goose. If you can kill a goose,
Charles is basically at 6 thanks to the 2 cats that are just sitting there.
Oh, and the
this is probably the end of the line. This is okay. Again, while I think this deck is a cool addition to this gauntlet, this is why I hate it, because the deck has absolutely, like, we've watched it do nothing.
Literal
the
nothing.
deck has done nothing. You sat there and you said, "Hey, I have 1 Witch's Oven and 2 Cauldron Flares. Beat me before they kill you."
Right.
And Charles and Tax is like, "No, I can't.
I'm out."
Nah, I'm good."
Oh, and then there's the 1 Murderous Rider.
I love the way those different borders look on there.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Now, has a Murderous Rider available, Aethergust is sad.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because Legion AF does have a 6-mana green spell in his hand that could be Aethergusted, but he's just like, I have no incentive to play this right now.
Yeah,
like,
why would I do such a thing?
I kill 1 creature and 1 generic land.
And it is 7 to 20.
One thing Charles could do is Aethergust his own Edgewall Innkeeper in response to that Murderous Rider. I mean, it's not great, but it does counter the Murderous Rider, and like, you don't get a...
He's gonna try to hit the Trail of Crumbs. I don't like that.
No, you just get it back next turn, right?
Well, and he can just do this stuff now. Yeah, that doesn't do anything for me. Oh boy.
Yeah, take that Cold.
Oh boy. Dragon incoming. I know. I'm getting a little
getting hot in here, boys.
Getting hot in here. So, yeah, it's not looking great for Shawnee State here.
You know, there's a certain irony off using the Aethergust on the Trail of Crumbs and then drawing a Corvald off of the Trail of Crumbs.
Finally, you're able to draw some cards here.
I might be a little too late.
Well,
it's a good mix.
Okay, so first things first.
Play the land.
Land to see what we have on top. We can play. Oh God, if we play Granted, I don't think.
I think you want to play Clover and then Granted, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, you don't. You're just kind of. The problem is that you don't have a lot of time. You're definitely running out of time, and you can feel. So you have like an internal clock. It's like, come on, guys.
And I believe Legion is at 29. It looks like.
I mean, the life total is irrelevant right now.
It doesn't
it's a matter
matter,
of,
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's how do we get from 7? Like, how do we live through this?
So, I mean, the thing is, like, I was gonna say, I feel like going for granted and then getting like the spear is probably your best option, but then we know that Legion has casualties of war, so he just kills a creature and then the spear and then a land, and it's just
but the way you could do it is you could at least get one attack with it if you do it correctly.
If you do it like next turn and play and equip next turn.
Yeah. But it's gonna go with the Innkeeper here, and see what's on top, and then play the 5/5. I mean, that's not gonna give you all the time you want.
Interesting. I would probably go Lucky Clover into make 2/1/1.
Right, exactly. But he wants to took the cards.
I guess, but you can just get those next turn. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be able to play them this turn anyway. But part of this is being able to have Petty Theft available.
The problem is your time is just so constrained right now. Like, I think that in this matchup, your time is your bottleneck because like you're at 7, and these guys are dealing you 2 every turn, so you only have realistically like 3 turns.
I don't even think he has 3. I only have like 2. He's at 7, and we're gonna see a huge Dragon right now. And then all of a sudden, his hand that didn't really have too much going on is gonna have a lot of things coming.
I'll sack a food, I bet.
I guess. Well, this is, hey, look.
Sack a land? No, it's a food. Okay. It looked like they were sacking a land for a second. And I was like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, this dragon actually isn't that great because it doesn't have trample. He will, and it will. I know that thought process. It's not that it's going to attack. It's more that it's going to refill his hand and just do a lot of shenanigans here.
Oh, this gets okay.
Because he can only hit like there's 2 Lucky Clovers available with the Petty Theft, so can essentially just bounce his whole board if he wants.
Yeah.
Will that be enough time? That remains to be seen.
Well, I mean, like that doesn't even save them though, because you could just sack one of the cats to the Witches of it in response, and then just get the cat back and block something. So it's like you're not like even the amount of damage. Like if it was a totally clear board, and Charles in Texas was attacking with everything, it's still only 15 damage. So
yeah, but he does have the ability. Actually, with double Clover, he can do
I might have been tempted to take the Brazen Borrower there.
I would have 100% taken the Brazen Borrower.
Yeah, he took the Lucky Clover because I think you're just afraid of Lucky Clover, but like it doesn't really do much right now.
Yeah,
because Brazen Borrower is your only adventure card in hand. So
right.
Instead you left him with the only adventure card, whereas like Lucky Clover would have been blank.
Okay, so it's going to be you got to like granted, right? Like the thing is, like, can you get Shadow Spear in here somehow? It's like if you go Clover into, let's see, 1, 2. I can't exactly see how much mana he has. So, like, are you able to Clover, then play Granted, then Shadow Spear equip? Like, that's the question. Because you can't do anything about Dragon, so you have to be able to. You have to have enough mana up.
I mean, you could bounce it, but
right, he's at 5, so
it's not exciting. Like none of your options are super exciting, is the problem.
So it has to be like Clover. You can go Clover, Granted, have some stuff up, and then use the Petty Theft during your turn to bounce some things. It's the only thing I can imagine. And then with whatever you get off of Granted, one of it would have to be Shadow Spear. So like Shadow Spear plus Chandra, because Chandra you can remove 1 loyalty and well that doesn't work because he's got the oven, so never mind.
Right, like yeah, like the oven, yeah, the fact that you could always sacrifice Disdainful Stroke. Oh, do you get a Disdainful Stroke and a Shadow Spear? Because that's pretty good. But then like no, they still have Thrashing Brontodon. Oh, you get Sorcerer's Spyglass.
Oh, to get rid
That's
of
interesting.
spyglass for the oven.
With the oven, sure, but then you still have gilded. Like, I don't think any of these options are really going to get you out of the woods. Is the problem?
Yeah, but I think this is fine. Now he has the ability to. Oh, what? I'm confused.
I'm also confused. These are interesting lines that I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
so like, if you play the spyglass, you can hit the oven and then have borrower up, and you can just. I mean, does it matter if he's? I mean, if he does it this way, because he wants to stroke the dragon.
So,
Yes,
is that a euphemism, Rob?
Yeah, hey, listen. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to win matches.
Sometimes you got to stroke the dragon, man.
You gotta stroke the dragon. It sounds like a heavy metal song.
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
That's actually the name of my band.
Oh, and now to the stage. Let out
Stroke the dragon.
Frank Lapoor, make your noise for the dragon.
Do you spyglass? You gotta spyglass the witch's oven here, right? Like,
Can you spyglass the? Yeah, of course.
well, you can also spyglass the cat, right? Because then you can't sacrifice a food to get it back.
Oh, is it a trigger? Let me see. Hold on.
It's an activated.
I've never done that. I've actually never done that. Yeah, it does have a colon, but I don't know. I've never had it happen, so I'm gonna assume that works.
I mean, the problem is like Brontodon just kills whatever anyway.
Yeah, but once it kills it, then you go back with your. Well, you didn't get it. I was like, he didn't get the ability to bring back his. That's like we talked about this before. But when you have once in future, like even if they were to kill your spyglass, you could like once in future and bring it back.
Yeah.
But that is not the case this time. And
it's just so grindy because like then you have to cast Fae of Wishes. You have to discard 2 to bring it back. Pay 2 mana. Pay 4 more mana.
And somehow live at 5. Like that's why we thought that you had to get Shadow Spear.
Okay, there's the same old stroke.
Yeah, we
so
knew that.
Casualties of War is actually just free to do whatever it wants.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it is a 3-for-1, which is not a bad one.
Oh man, double Witch's Oven into cat. This is just
double oven
is
when your
just
opponent knows you have a spyglass.
Yeah, but I mean, like Legion AF, like our team has double ways to deal with the spyglass, so I'm not super concerned.
And let's see what is named.
Bring both those cats back. Bring them back now. Do it.
And the cat came back the very next day. Have you seen that cartoon about the cat that comes back?
The very next day?
Yeah.
Is that a cartoon?
It is. The cat came
I thought that was like an old story.
The very next day, the cat came back. Thought it was gone, but the cat came back. Just wouldn't stay away. That's what.
Rob,
that's
you're
what,
alienating our audience.
Listen, that's what Stroking the Dragon sings. That's their song.
Tell me about the kitty cat that came back, Grandpa Rob.
That's right. Well, let my band Stroke the Dragon sing it for.
Oh wow. I feel like it's much more metal when Stroke the Dragon sings it.
Yeah, you know, you gotta like get into your deep voice. The cat came back. Anyway.
There's a lot of things happening right now.
Yeah, a lot of things are going on. Most of it is just cats coming back.
The very
and
next
triggering.
day.
Yes, lots of damage coming the way of Charles and Taxes via black cats from the graveyard.
We're really just trying to pass the time here while we wait for the stats to resolve.
Yeah. Waiting for the 15 triggers to resolve.
Oh god, he's at 2? Jesus, good lord.
And can
holy biscuits.
Holy biscuits, Batman.
This is... You have to name Cat now, because otherwise they just come back and kill you after they block.
Whoops.
Yeah, so then you just play Thrashing Bronze.
No, but here's the worst part, is when you drop the spyglass, you get to see his hand, and you just know you're dead.
You're just like, okay, the game has ended. Alright, so 2-0 for University of Maryland, my dudes.
Yeah, and he's like, that's like the worst feeling. You just like that sense of dread. You're like, whoops. Guess that's it. Guess we're wrapped up here. Let's see. What could you possibly do here?
Like, actually, still nothing. It's still nothing. Because you don't have the mana to, like, bounce and play and replay granted, so that's 4 mana.
Right.
or 6 mana total, which is all you have. So you'd have 1 mana remaining, and like it's just there's nothing you can do. This game has ended.
It's all because I rooted for Shawnee State. It's all because
that's rough. If you were the
I'm sorry.
the
I put the hex on you, friends.
That's messed up, man.
I know, and it's the deck is so good. They just did not have the silly draws that sometimes the deck gets, and on top of that, it's like the sideboards of all of these decks. We talked about in the deck tech. Sideboards are so good. There's so many options available for University of Maryland.
But again, there's none for the Team Adventure deck. Like, you get a one of. Like,
yeah.
You know, when I'm playing against the blue deck, I want to have like 3 or 4 copies of Mystical Dispute because I think they're valuable in multiples. But you don't have really that kind of redundancy in the Team Adventures deck.
Yeah, and his opponents just had too much life. Here is Fae of Wishes.
There's also surprisingly no life gain in the Team Adventure deck outside of the Shadow Spear.
Yeah, Shadow Spear, and then the Henge. That's it.
Oh yeah, the Great Henge gaining 2 life turn. Sure,
right, but that's like not. I mean, in this matchup, it would have mattered because that 2 life is essentially just turns off the cats every turn. But here we go, playing with the Casualties of War.
Let's get rid of Sorcerer Spyglass, one of your untapped lands.
Why not?
And probably something random.
That's right, because I want it all or nothing at all.
And I want it now.
That's right. Here we go. Casualties of War. Been holding that bad boy for a little while, and it is going to get rid of what's holding him down. But he's at 2, and there's 2 cats, and yeah, about that.
Is this a sweep? Is it 2-0 with 2-0?
Yeah, that would be a 2-0, 4-0.
Oh my goodness. What happened to Shawnee State? How the mighty have fallen?
It's because it's all Rob's fault. Just blame him.
Got him.
Yep, and incoming cats, and is not going to wait. Not going
to hesitate. If it's
all
right with you, I'm going to bring my cats back.
That's right. They've been gone for a little while. It's sad. I'm hoping
they're indoor cats, so they can come on inside.
That's right. Please spay and neuter your cats.
Please do. We're taking up the mantle of the. I was going to say the late Bob Barker, but he's
not.
He's
the wrong L word. Legendary Bob Barker. Good. That's right. Get in your hole. That's right. Hole's too good for you. Price is wrong. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but so some of those lines were not from actually Bob Barker. Those are
Adam Sandler lines. Right, Adam Sandler lines.
Happy Gilmore.
And then Bob Barker. Here we go. Congratulations to the University of Maryland College Park for coming through with the 2-0 victory. 2-0, 4-0. Didn't lose any games. Took down the Teamer Adventure deck, and
sometimes that's just how you do.
Frank was right. It pains me to say it.
I'm sorry, buddy.
And his sneezing has infected me through the computer, so now I am also sneezing and sniffling.
I wasn't even sneezing, buddy.
Listen, I'm just gonna blame it on you. I just thought it would be better to blame it on.
I don't think I've sneezed once, my friend.
Listen, you're ruining my storyline now.
I'm sorry. Your story was built upon lies.
The throne of lies you sit on, but. It is going to be the University of Maryland College Park moving on to the Elite 8, and their dreams of a national championship are still intact. And today we've had a great time with myself, Rob AJG, and Frank Lepore making another very, very awesome appearance. So thank you, Frank. Appreciate that.
That's always a blast, buddy. Always a blast.
So the road to the national championship has one less team. So also... F's in chat for Shawnee State.
Down to the top 8 now.
That's right. It's going to be top 8, Elite 8, whatever you want to call it. Next week, we are going to have our first team into our Final Four. So make sure you come. How many weeks? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to actually say, because we had the Sweet 16, and then the something 8? Did you say Awesome 8 or something?
No, Elite 8.
Elite 8. And do when we get to the 4, do we have the Fantastic 4?
No, it's the Final 4. Jesus, you are. Do you not even watch
fan.
Sports? You don't even watch
No, I
sports,
don't really.
I'm embarrassed for you, Frank, but that's going to be it for the week.
I accept.
I'm going to take my sneezing and my runny nose away. But next week, we will have 2 more teams. I will have not a runny nose. I will have allergy medicine by then. Frank will hopefully be back, and with his
I would
luscious
love
beard, his luscious beard may be back next week. But until then, have a great
I'm gonna
week.
shave just because of that.
No, don't do it now. No, the beard, keep it. Anyway, next week, runny nose or not, we'll see you then, and we will have one more team into our Final Four. We'll see you then.